I'm not a massive movie fan, but I am noticing something happening in the marketplace that I felt I wanted to give my 2 cents on. And this is the generation of flop movies that have been come out. Just about every movie released in 2025 at the box office is a flop. And there's no end to people crowing on YouTube, either just crowing that Hollywood has lost it or crowing about their own political ideology, even though it seems like movies from all sides are not making their budget back very often at the box office. And in order to believe the narrative coming out of YouTube, which you should never do, you would have to believe that Hollywood is full of business people who are stupider than the average YouTuber. This is very unlikely. I'm assuming the average YouTuber, if they got a call from Hollywood, would be on the next plane over, and for very good reason. These studios have budgets that they can hire analysts in economics, and people are studying human consumer behavior. The thing is that we're living in a post-box office world for a very good reason. Is the cloud is actually really what's happening. We like to think that we're in the AI world and stuff, but even AI is a thing in the cloud. It's really the cloud that's doing things. So if you look back at old Hollywood, you'll notice something about movies is that Hollywood studios were always just on the verge of bankruptcy again and again and again. Often you'll see a movie like this movie saved this studio, this movie saved that studio. Sometimes major past studios don't exist anymore. And this was because Hollywood had a really, really tough economic climate in that they had to make their money in the several month run that theaters are willing to show movies. Okay? Sometimes an indie movie could come up and expand by word of mouth, but essentially, this was an entirely risk-based business. You were rolling the dice on something, and very often blockbuster successes were as big as surprise as anything. What the studios are now looking at is they're looking at the hyperscalers like Google and Microsoft and Amazon and particularly Netflix, and they're seeing how subscription-based models reduce that risk and have created these companies that are essentially just printing money. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they're just printing money off of subscription-based services. They're also saying that with the cloud and mobile technology, and the two of them go hand in hand, the pattern people have for consuming entertainment has changed. People are going to be consuming more and more entertainment at a time when they want to. Okay? So, in the future, Hollywood is going to become a subscription-based business, just like Google has. Okay? LA is going to go the way of San Francisco in this one. Subscription basis, long tail. That's been the future. That was always the future with internet. That is how internet affects business. It gives you a longer and longer tail of revenue off of an asset. Okay? What studios are doing right now is that they are more concerned about having the catalog of films that people might want to see, okay, than they are about having the next big box office success that gets them through 1 year. Okay? And we see this in the Warner Brothers being bought by Netflix. Obviously, that's what's happening in that one. And to Hollywood, there's two things about box office flops right now. One, everybody who doesn't see the movie in the theaters is someone who is more likely probably to see it on a subscription service, right? Particularly for a subscription service, when they're not quite sure if they want to see it or not. They may not have been motivated to go, or they may have missed it in the theaters, but it's right there whenever they want it. Okay? Then, of course, there's the other attribute is that when they sell a seat in a movie theater, okay, they probably make less than a monthly subscription price from it, and they don't know anything about the person who sits there. When they sell subscriptions, even if that person consumes 5 or 10 movies, okay, they're still making as much money as they would have if they'd only gone to one movie in the theater, and they're giving all their information to that user. Not all of it, of course, but about what kind of movies they like, when they like to watch it, what they like to see, things that they can use to build their model. So Hollywood is really in the process of actually de-risking itself, and I'm under the impression that they don't really care about flops anymore. They're probably viewing the box office run as a kind of marketing, right? And if those movies, they push a lot of movies out there, very few will make a lot of money, most will barely break even, more and more every year are going to flop, but it means their catalog gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And those movies will be viewed in the future as subscription services that enable the Hollywood studios to potentially look at the Googles, the Metas, the Microsofts, and the Amazons, the hyperscalers who do subscription basis or do ad based products and just can print money. And that's where the money's at. And Hollywood's not stupid.